Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. And when we do talk about it, when we do listen to others who are struggling in that way, we're not very good at it. Check that. Most of us suck at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations and hopefully better conversations, in large part to help more people in more places feel less shitty and less alone. If you are a suicide attempt survivor and you would like to talk, please reach out. Our email is hello@suicidenoted.com, and I would really like to talk with you. I'd love to talk with you. You can learn more about this podcast, Suicide Noted, in the show notes and the About sections of Apple and Spotify or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts. That includes our membership, our podcast training, and a bunch of other cool stuff. So check it out if you are curious. And of course, rating and reviewing this podcast on Apple or Spotify, which admittedly can be a little hard to navigate, but nonetheless really helps people find it. And we do want more people to find it. However you are involved, as a listener, as a guest, or whatever else, however else, I really do appreciate it. You will notice today that there was no blurb. Every single episode thus far, there's a blurb in the beginning. And I want to tell you, there was no real reason why I didn't do a blurb today, other than I have been struggling really hard. So I've done my best today to put out this episode, but I let that part go. I had to. It's okay, I suppose. Sometimes change is good. Finally, we are talking about suicide on this podcast, as we always do, every Monday, as the title of this podcast clearly suggests. Please take that into account before you listen, or even as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there's so much to learn. Today, I am talking with both Jasmine and Wilson. This is an update episode. I first talked to Jasmine in 2023 and Wilson in 2022. They are both suicide attempt survivors. And if you are curious, my conversation with Wilson starts at about the 20-minute mark with absolutely no transition. I hope you listen to both, and I hope you enjoy both conversations. Hey, Jasmine.
How are you?
I am still here. Jasmine in Washington still?
Yes, still here.
You're not in a car this time with a bunch of kids behind you.
Nope, I'm hibernating in my room away from them.
But they're still around.
Oh, yeah.
We talked in 2023, episode 154. Did I even thank you for reconnecting with me?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, let's go back. Thanks, Jasmine, for talking with me.
You're welcome.
What was going on in your life when we first connected?
So I had just got divorced, I believe, when I talked to you. Or maybe, no, it was a year prior. Mm-hmm. And then I was in a very abusive relationship, raising my 4 children, not co-parenting with my ex-husband at all, deep into depression and anxiety, alcoholic, late at night when my kids would go to bed, very suicidal. I did attempt, I'm pretty sure I told you it was with a belt, and then my son or my daughter had came in the room and stopped me. And in that moment, that's when it just clicked. I can never do this again. I can't. And I won't. No matter how heavy shit gets, I can't.
When we talked 2 years ago, more or less, you had one attempt.
Yeah.
And you had at least one hospital stay, mental health hospital stay.
So I did one hospital stay, and then I did 3 times in intensive outpatient therapy.
For some reason, I want to know, and you probably won't know the answer to this. When we got off it was probably Zoom. I think you're on your phone. Your very well-behaved kids were very patient, hanging out in the back. It was fucking amazing, actually. I remember talking to them very, very briefly. I just want to know how the drive home was.
When you and I started talking, yes, we were driving, and then I pulled into our apartment complex.
Mm-hmm.
And they stayed in the car for a few minutes, and then they ended up getting out, went inside, thank God. Now they're a little bit older and still on fucking nerves all the time.
Jesus, we're bringing it. We're getting real here. Some people, I imagine, would have no interest in reconnecting. At that time, they wanted to talk, but you do. Why is that?
I'm such an advocate for mental health, and I know that there's people that are out there that are struggling, and I just want to be a voice for them, that it's okay to struggle. We're all human. We all have good days and bad days, but no matter what, you have to hang on, and you're going to get through it.
You sure?
Yeah.
Did you stop drinking?
I still drink, but not as much as I did 2 years ago. From 2023 until last year, it was every day. Like by the time I got off work, it was up until midnight. And then I would go to work again and then start drinking again at night. And then on the weekends, it was all the time.
Do you remember if you listened to our episode?
I did, yes.
What was that like for you?
I don't like hearing my voice, which I don't think anybody does, but it was good to listen back and see like how far I've come from back then up until now.
Oh, you recently listened to it?
Mm-hmm.
What's the addiction? Is it alcohol?
Alcohol and marijuana.
Do you ever think about it?
So to be honest, I did have a thought. It was about, I want to say a month ago. We had a family friend that committed suicide in April, and it was very triggering. So when I heard about it, I had those thoughts come into my head.
Oh, so this is an interesting thing here. So when people hear about somebody or experience somebody taking their life, that could be a trigger.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a known thing. We should be able to talk about this stuff. That's the premise of the whole podcast. So do you think maybe, certainly inadvertently, I might be triggering people? Do you think?
Yeah. But so that was the only thought that I had in the 2 years since I've talked to you. Yeah.
What was the big change? Something must have changed. Or maybe it just happens, but like usually something's got to change, right?
Yeah, I just think I started putting myself first. Like, even though I have kids, for most of my life, it's been them, and I've always put them first. And it just got to a point where I knew I had to start putting myself first, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Be quiet. I didn't want to live anxious and depressed anymore and feel like I didn't want to be alive. So I had to start taking care of myself.
Can you do me a favor and let the audience know that you weren't telling me to be quiet?
Sorry, guys. I was telling my dogs to be quiet. They're sitting on my bed play fighting.
Like, damn, she just told me to shut the fuck up in front of my god. It's my goddamn podcast. What's going on? Damn, what kind of dogs do you have?
They're pit bulls.
Settle down. Mama will be back real soon. Damn, needy little pit bulls.
They are.
Anybody else hear your episode? You might want to share it. Hey, someone, check this out.
So after we recorded it and you released it, I let everybody know that I was on it. And I did have a lot of friends that listened to it. My family did. Other than the ones that didn't really know that I was struggling like that, they all said that it was very helpful to them. And they were so proud of me for going on the podcast and that they love me and they support me. And that, if I'm ever to that point again, that they're always there for me. Which, nice. They can say that, but who knows if they really will be.
Right. You still ever listen to the podcast? This podcast?
Yeah, I do. I like to hear other people's stories and like what they're going through and what brought them like to this point. And I really like the follow-up episodes. It's sad that somebody's pain is that so deep like that. And they just don't want to be here anymore. It makes me think all the times I felt like that or wanted to do it. I could never, put my kids through that and my family.
How do we reconcile that with the ongoing pain someone has while living, though? It's a tricky spot.
My own experience. I think you have to be vulnerable and open, and you have to have a support system. Yeah. Whether it's your family or a therapist or your church family. In those moments when you get to your lowest of the low, you have to reach out to your support system. And in those moments when you're so weak, let them carry you. Let them be there with you.
I'm adding on to, I'm really not pushing back, but it's like, there are people that talk about it, and there are people that even have people in their lives, and it's sometimes not enough. It's just a complicated thing.
Yeah.
For you, we got worked and you're here, and it sounds like you rarely think about it.
Yeah, rarely.
And will not be planning.
No. I mean, I know life is always going to get hard. For me, the thing that keeps me alive, one is my faith in God, and two, my kids. Nobody else can love my kids the way that I love them.
No, I bet you are the fucking best at it.
I am.
And they all have cool names, I remember.
Ethan, Brooklyn, Caden, and Aaliyah.
My name is Jasmine, and I will not be naming my children like Eric, Brad, Jennifer and Lisa. And if you're out there and that's your name, fine, that's a cool name. Guess what? Jasmine's not naming her children those names.
That's right. Amen to that.
You're a good mom?
Yes. I fail every day.
Yeah.
Obviously, but yes.
Do you think if I asked your children about their mom?
Yeah. I mean, they probably say that I do yell too much.
Okay.
But other than that, they'd probably say that like I love them and I make them laugh and that I am the coolest mom ever.
You're a cool mom.
Yeah.
You got a big smile on your face.
Yeah. I love them. They are like with every fiber of my being, I love them.
That'll keep you alive.
Yeah.
When we talked, there was a couple questions that I don't know if I was asking at the time. Did I do memoir titles?
No, we did not. I think mine would be My Story Isn't Over Yet.
That might be the subtitle. I'm gonna have to get really tough with you here.
Okay.
I need something a little edgier and bolder, only because you are edgy and bold.
I don't know.
My story isn't over yet. All right, let's use that as a working title.
Okay.
So, and you're in your 30s?
Yeah, I just turned 37 on Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo. Happy Feliz Cumpleaños to you, which is happy birthday. The Gringo speaks Spanish on the Suicide Noted podcast. Tune in every Monday to hear the Gringo speak Spanish and butcher a beautiful language. Congrats for making it.
Well, thank you.
Well, you've got 37, 38 years of story done. I suppose the facts aren't rewritable, but the interpretation of life is always rewritable. What do you think the next 37-ish years will be like? What will they or what do you want them to be like?
I want to, one, see my kids get married and give me grandbabies. Yeah, that's pretty much all I want is just to see my kids flourish and do amazing things in their life.
Are you a single mom?
I have a boyfriend, but yes, I'm a single mom.
When you said I have a boyfriend, but I pretty much knew where that was going.
I mean, you're not going to put a ring on my finger. You know, I'm not going to put in 100% for you.
Damn. Are you fucking Beyonce?
And the funny thing is, he was mentioned on the other podcast. I don't know if you remember, my youngest daughter has a different father.
Oh, yeah, I remember, right.
And I'm with her dad now. And we moved in together, so.
Oh, well, so it wasn't the dogs making the noise. It was your fucking boyfriend.
Well, he's at work.
Does he know about your struggles?
Yeah, but he doesn't like to talk about that stuff, and I don't know why, which is fine. He's that type that will just say, oh, you'll be fine. Just get over it. And it's like, you can't, when it comes to mental health, you can't say that.
Maybe weird question. What's your race?
I'm mixed. So my mom's white and my dad's black.
But the reason that popped into my head, especially is in the black community, in my experience, and it's limited, it's dealt with in different ways.
Yeah. And I just think in general, like even healthcare in general for the black community, it's very stigmatized for the African American race. And I don't know why that is. It is devastating.
It's called racism.
Yeah. And it's like, even though I'm black, well, half black, my kids are black, it's like we're still human. The color of our skin does not make me any different than Joe down the street who's white.
I've had if you add them all up, about 270 conversations. I can count on one hand how many of them are black. I
think looking at the African American race specifically, or even the men in general, and even white men or Hispanic men are taught to not talk about their emotions or don't cry. And black women, they have that persona of they're tough as shit and they can handle whatever comes their way by themselves. And then you add the healthcare stigma into it and they feel like they're not going to get the care that they need. So why go out there and try to get that help when you know you're not going to get the same care as your next door neighbor that's white? And then the racism, it's not fair and it's not right at all under any circumstance.
Sure, of course. I know you have 4 lovely human beings that are your children.
Yes.
You have a partner who doesn't really like to talk about this stuff. How many people do you have in your life? If you were, let's just say, really having a tough day, and let's extend that to, let's say you dip into the ideating. You have people you can talk to and be really open and not feel worse after talking with them?
Oh, yeah. My mom, my dad, my best friend, my therapist, a few of my coworkers, friends at church. Most important one is my aunt. She dealt with mental health for a long time, was suicidal for many years, did numerous stays in and out of the psych ward. So she is like my number one go-to.
You say dealt with mental health. What does that mean? How are we using that term?
Because I don't want to say that it's a sickness like cancer. That's definitely a sickness. I don't want to put a label on it for myself because that's not who I am. And so, yes, I like to say I struggle with depression and anxiety. In spite of that, I'm still Jasmine. I'm still a mom. I'm still a sister. I'm still many of these other things.
Did I ask you the pink and purple pill question? I don't know when I started.
No, not in the first episode.
You know what it does, right?
You have a pink and purple pill, and if I gave it to you, what would you do with it?
Well, I mean, you die and it's peaceful and not painful and no one knows to suicide. How would you have answered the question? I guess we're speculating a little bit. Then, a couple years ago.
Probably would have saved it.
Today.
Throw it away.
You better throw it away real good because those pit bulls can get into all sorts of shit. Has your perspective or ideas around suicide changed?
The biggest one that's really hard for me is when people say suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. That one I do agree with, and here's why. Yes, like we all have struggles, we all go through things, but the hard things in life are not going to last forever. Let's say you go take your life tomorrow. You're going to miss out on so much. Like if you're single, you're going to miss out on getting married one day or possibly having kids or being able to travel. I don't know. I guess I know some people don't view it that way, but for me, that's how I view it. If I would have taken my life 2 years ago, like I would have missed out on so much. I would have missed out on my nephew being born, my sister being pregnant right now, seeing my nieces start kindergarten, so much. My twins are going to graduate high school next year. I would have missed out on so much.
Well, given that you're where you are now and the space you're in, what would you say to Jasmine in her car 2+ years ago?
It's okay to not be okay. And this pain that you're in right now is not going to last forever. You were put on this earth for a reason and your heart is still beating. So you have a purpose.
Pick a point in the future. How old are
you? 50.
All right, 13 years from now.
I would tell myself that I love you and I am proud of you. And look at how far you've come. You've made it through 100% of your worst days and you are still here.
Something with that might be a pretty strong memoir title. Story isn't over yet. You're a religious woman, right? You're a Christian?
I am, yeah. My dad's a pastor.
Right. Does your story die when you die?
No.
So your story's never going to be over?
No.
You believe in heaven?
I do.
You believe in hell?
I do.
Where you going?
I'm going to heaven 100%.
What if you had ended your life, or what if people end their lives? Where do they go?
Well, if you believe in God, I do 100% believe that you go to heaven. And I say that because growing up as a Christian and still being a Christian today, whether you're a Christian or not, we were all born into a sinful world. We all sin. There is nothing that I, as a Christian, or my kids, or my friends, whatever, there's nothing that we can do that can ever separate us from Jesus loving us and going to eternity with him. If you don't, I mean, unfortunately, you're not going to go to heaven. And that sucks. It's real.
Wait a second. I loved how you just said that. So what you're saying is if you don't believe in God, you're not going to heaven, which means you're going to hell. And that sucks.
I mean, it sucks. And I'm not here to tell people what to believe. All I can tell people is that God loves you. He did create you. He formed the earth. He formed all of us before we were even born.
Tell you what, what I really appreciate? Those little snarky pit bulls of yours have been pretty quiet.
Yeah, they're both sleeping next to me right now.
What else do you want to share?
I just want anybody out there who is listening to this and even episodes going forward that are struggling with depression or anxiety or even suicidal thoughts, that you are loved and you are not alone and hang on for as long as you can. And if you're to that point where you feel like you can't, please reach out to your support system. Try not to give up because life is beautiful in spite of the chaos, and you're here for a purpose.
Well, thanks for talking again. It was awesome.
You're welcome.
And I hope your day is decent.
You as well.
Ciao.
All right. Bye.
Wilson, you doing all right?
Yeah, I'm definitely doing a lot better than last time I talked to you.
You're doing better than when we talked. You were episode number 89. We probably talked in what, like 2022?
Yes, I think so. I actually recently, a few months back, re-listened to it. It was weird. It was like, do I really sound like that? Holy crap. Yeah.
It's cool to reconnect with you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I thank you for having me.
What was going on when we first talked a few years ago?
2022. We just talked about just my mental health struggles, being in a high school and just being extremely depressed and suicidal, and multiple stays in hospitals, getting different kinds of treatment like ECT, a cocktail of trying to find the right meds for me, and just therapy.
How old are you now?
I am 24 years old.
How many attempts had you had up until that point?
I think like 2 or 3.
Have you tried since?
I have not. No.
You're better.
Yes, I have been doing a lot better. I enrolled in a trade program at a local community college for welding, and that really has, I believe, like helped me a lot. I have connected with lots of different people. It gave me a new passion, a new career. I think at that point, when I talked to you, I didn't really know what I was doing or where I was going with my life.
You said that you re-listened recently.
This last December.
Oh, you took a long time. Okay.
Yeah, no, I hate hearing myself talk. I hate my voice. I hate, like, I'm just like, why did I say that? Why did I do this? I'm just very nitpicky and self-critical.
So what was it like to hear your voice, especially when you don't like hearing your voice? And then also hearing yourself a few years ago when you were in a different place?
I can definitely tell I was a little bit more sad. Like, my tone, I felt like was a little bit different than I am now. Being just very critical on what I say, because I'm a perfectionist. I try to do the best that I can and go above and beyond. And when I don't hit that mark, I get very down on myself.
Did you end up letting anyone know about it, or was it kind of like on the down low?
I let my family know, and my mom was I'm very lucky to have a support system. My parents listened to it. A bunch of other people listened to it.
Oh, did they say anything to you about it?
They just said, great job. I loved your podcast, and a bunch of people reached out to me, and just a lot of love came my way.
I guess what I want to know, it's not so much about the podcast, more like how people talk about stuff like this and they hear it. Like, did anybody give you shit?
No, nobody gave me shit. Nobody was critical of me. They were all like, good job. I'm glad you were able to talk and like be on this podcast and talk about mental health and that kind of stuff.
And so since then, I know you're doing better. I also know that when people are suicidal or they attempt, for some people, a sort of door that's open that can't ever totally be closed. So for you, do those thoughts creep in from time to time?
Yeah. The more like intense suicidal thoughts have, I won't say gone away, but they have suppressed a lot. I still have like bad days where I just like passively like, oh, I wish I was not here or whatever, that kind of stuff.
So what is the difference, do you think? And this might be hard to identify, between then where you would sometimes have the thoughts and on a couple of occasions at least followed through with it?
I think a little bit of age and just the progress that I've had since I was like 20, 21. I'm getting a welding certification and possibly joining a union, making good money doing that. And just, I have a girlfriend now. We're about to move in together. We're getting a house, renting a house, I should say, renting.
All right. Is this your first time living with someone like that romantically?
No, it hit my first high school girlfriend. I moved out with her. Bless her heart, but it did not work out. She's an amazing person, but it just was not meant to be.
you know how I choose a little blurb and then I play it in the beginning of each episode before my voice or the music and all that shit. Yours was around men and men talking. You use the word stupid, that we don't talk more about it. And so now, a few years later, have your thoughts changed at all on that?
No, I mean, I still think there's like a huge problem, especially with young men and just trying to be quote unquote manly, whatever that means to you. Suck it up and move on with your life when it's like filling a glass full of water and just keep on filling it when it's full. It just dumps out. And I think that's a real problem. I coach high school lacrosse and I know some of my players deal with those kind of struggles, and it hurts me knowing that they deal with this, but don't talk about it, just don't get help, and they just keep it all in because society, quote unquote, tells them to shut up. It's not manly for you to talk about this or anything like that.
I want to add to that, but I don't want to say something where you feel like you have any pressure to agree with me, like, because you absolutely don't. And this probably won't come as any surprise, but the idea that I do think some people, let's even use high school lacrosse guys, I think sometimes they do talk about it and then it backfires.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. Actually, when I was in high school, there was a kid at another neighboring high school that committed suicide. It was just out of the blue. Nobody knew. I didn't really know the kid. I know a bunch of my friends, lacrosse friends, knew him. He was loved sports, and nobody knew, and he just ended his life. And his parents are doing this foundation where they go to sports teams, like neighboring sports teams, like throughout the high schools in our area, and they talk to like the teams about just mental health and support systems and like who to talk to, and like mental health is a real thing. It's real. Miles Jeffrey Roberts Foundation.
Okay, support that organization, or Wilson, they can support this one. Both doing good work, I hope, I think. I have a question about this podcast. I am very curious about something. I want to know what you get out of it. Yeah. You wouldn't listen to something probably if it wasn't doing something presumably positive. And I really want to know, like, what is it like to hear people talk about this stuff? How does it help, if at all?
It makes it feel real. I'm not the only one that feels like crap all the time. It makes me feel like usually I'm just very meh, I guess, like not good or bad. And I like it because it makes me feel emotions, like happy, like when people are talking about they're doing better. I like hearing people's stories, and warms my heart or makes me sad.
Yeah. I'm wondering, like, as people are in a different place or space in their life, right? And they're still listening to the podcast, because I'm sure there's many people, whether they're guests or just listeners, who like, it's just a period of time and then they're in a different place, don't even think about it, right? Sure.
Yeah. I feel like I'm more drawn to like the sadder episodes. I want them to be able to talk about it and have people listen to them because they deserve people to listen to them. I want to listen.
That's a good memoir title. Something with welding. Like, if I promise you though, if I ever see a memoir title and it's Wilson the Welder, I will never talk to you again.
Actually, I post some of my welding stuff on my Instagram.
Oh, sweet.
And I use the hashtag Wilson Welds.
Oh, shit. So maybe it isn't, because welds have more than one meaning, but Wilson Welds is much better than Wilson the Welder.
The Welder. I mean, everybody says once I stop doing my trade, when I get my certificate, I should get a truck and get a welder on the back of it and have my own company and Wilson Welds and stuff like that.
Yes. And also, is it going to be like some weird cartoon-like avatar that we see? Like, it's you, but
probably.
Yeah.
Probably.
Right. Big dude with the suspenders and a mustache.
Yes.
And, yeah. So these days, how many people do you have in your life to talk to if you're feeling really down? And you can use you can even utter the word suicide. You feel okay about it. And
I mean, I have usually I have my friends, my girlfriend. I don't understand why she likes me.
Yeah.
She is an amazing person. I can't believe I am extremely lucky to have her in my life.
I hope you listen. What's her name?
Penny.
All right, Penny.
Or Penelope. But
Penelope, I don't know if you're listening, but I think Wilson just scored a point or two.
I hopefully I did.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I have her in my life. I have my friends. My family are very supportive. I'm just extremely lucky and blessed.
Were you 24 now? When are you 25?
October 29th.
So I give you the pink and purple pill. Take it. If you take it, you go to sleep and there's no pain and you expire.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody knows it's a suicide. Back in 2022, do you think you would have taken it?
Maybe.
Today?
Can I save it?
Do whatever you want with it, Wilson. It's not real. We're all just making things up here.
Yes, I think I would save it. I know that would scare my parents, but I think I would save it. It's not because I'm not doing bad. It's just
the thing about it that's interesting if people save it. Sometimes from what I've heard over the years, I wouldn't say it's common that suicide is particularly impulsive, but sometimes the act feels somewhat impulsive. What I mean by that is things are building and people might be ideating for years, but the act takes a certain level of something. And this is one of the arguments about guns is it's so quick and easy and deadly.
Yes.
Same with a pill. That works.
Yeah.
One pill, you go to sleep. And so that's the one thing I think about is like, I don't even know where I'm going with it, but if you save it, you have access. And if you have access, you might take it and there's no coming back. And if you would have waited an hour or a day, maybe you wouldn't have taken it, but you can't undo it. But if you don't have it around, it's not really an option.
I think it's spur of the moment, at least with my attempts. Just things were building and just like, I think I just had enough.
How did you try? I don't recall.
I believe I was trying to hang myself.
What do you mean you believe? You know how you try to end your life.
I do. It was with a rope.
Okay.
Not the prettiest, but it is a way.
I wonder if I had asked you. I don't think I did, because I don't think I typically asked this question. In 2022, hey, Wilson, say something to your future self should you be alive to hear it. That would be kind of cool, and then you could hear it.
Yes. I like that, yeah. Talking to 3 years back, I think I would tell myself, just give it a little bit more time. It's going to be okay. Things will work out, and just keep on giving effort. I know it's hard. One foot at a time.
Do you have anything to say to Wilson in 2028? Yes, 2028. That's a weird one, right?
Yeah. Hopefully I'm doing good. Hopefully I have a job and doing something that I like and not miserable. Hopefully I'm at least married. Maybe kids. I don't know.
Is there anything about your future life that you visualize or imagine that's a little bit outside of the box? Married, kids, good job. That's sort of standard. It's great stuff. Life affirming, empowering. But is there anything like, whoa, okay?
I guess beginning of high school, I've always just wanted to be like my father, have a family, have a kids, be able to support my family and I just want to be useful. For so long in my life, I have felt just worthless and not like I have no use for this world. I should be better. I'm better off dead. I've kind of ingrained inside my brain, you need to be useful. You will find meaning in that. And I think I will find meaning in having a family or just a career or helping others or whatever.
And have you been in therapy this whole time?
I have not. I think I should go back. I did do like BetterHelp.
Oh, yeah?
The teletherapy. I didn't really like it. I like the more in-person, face-to-face type stuff, but I can definitely see how it can be useful, but it just wasn't for me. And then I think I ended my thing with BetterHelp and I just never really looked. I know I've asked my like psychiatrist and stuff, like mental health resources, gave me a list of people or whatever. I just never like reached out or anything.
So you take meds?
I take 2 meds.
What are they treating, so to speak?
I guess just mood stabilizers with my mood and my serotonin receptors inside my brain. That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Have your ideas around suicide or ideating shifted at all?
As my mental state right now definitely has changed in the sense of I see it more as like a physical injury. Like if you break your leg, you need to go see the doctor. You get a cast or take meds, like do things. If you get like a scrape on your knee, you need to take meds, antibiotics or whatever. You need to do these things to get better. When I'm down in the dumps or whatever, I usually get in my head like, oh, you're fine. You just need to suck it up and man it out or stuff like that.
That's what you say to yourself?
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah.
That's helpful or hurtful?
Hurtful, but I've lasted this long. Definitely does not help. Hinders me like asking for help.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I was thinking of emailing you and like saying thank you for letting me speak on your podcast and just
cool.
airing out my feelings and that kind of stuff. And it's really helped me talk about my feelings and other things, like just to like other people.
That's cool. I'm glad to hear that. Something that I didn't ask you that I wanted to about mental health hospitals or psych units. Have you been back to one since then?
No, I have not been to anything like that, no.
And then you're a loss survivor. I recall that from our talk.
It was during COVID. My parents were moving out of their house. We were trying to sell our house and also buy another house at the same time. And we were like at my grandma's house because my grandma was on vacation for like a long vacation. It was October 11th. I know the date. And my dad came up to the room I was staying in, my grandma's house, told me that my aunt Sarah had ended her life. I knew she was struggling a lot with her mental health, just not good stuff that she was dealing with. I knew she was dealing with stomach problems and just a stalker too, and that kind of stuff. And I think she just had enough and ended her life.
Do you feel similarly now as you did then? And then can mean 2020 or when we talk. It's been about 5 years since that loss and 3 years since we talked.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was asking about your perhaps any shifts with suicide, that's also a perfect example. Like, do you think differently about her taking her life now than you did at some point in the past?
I don't think so. I still I understand why. I'm not mad or anything. I'm not how could you do this or anything like that. I know she's in a better place and more happy now than she would be. I remember she would always reach out to me a lot when she was alive and just ask, how are you doing? What's up?
Mm-hmm.
That kind of stuff.
You said that being on the podcast originally helped you come out of your shell a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit. What do you mean?
Just talking to people about mental health. When I coach lacrosse, I go back to school and I saw some teachers and the social workers there and just saying hi and that kind of stuff. And they have asked me to talk to other parents. Some other parents have been dealing with their kid and the same struggles that I've dealt with when I was in high school. That really helped me say yes, being on the podcast. It's just, you can use your voice for good, I guess, and just helping others. That's what I want to be useful.
Yeah, that's come up a few times. Good on you, man.
Yeah, I try.
Awesome, man. Thanks for reconnecting.
Thank you for having me. It feels surreal.
What's the rest of your day like? You gonna do some welding?
Yes, actually, I am going to get lunch with my girlfriend. We're going to get some Wingstop. And I'm going to go to a metal supply store and get some metal. And I'm making some targets, actually, shooting targets. Because on the new property, we will have space for being able to shoot. I recently bought a pistol, not to scare anybody or anything. I know my parents are very not happy with it. But I really like shooting. The feeling of just something that I was so scared of my whole life, being able to use it and just go to the range with my friends.
So lunch with Penelope, and then doing some welding related activities sounds like a pretty damn good day to me.
Yeah, I absolutely love it. All the sparks and
you love insert name, do it, trust me.
Wilson Welds.
And you love what person? Trust me, say it.
Oh, Penny.
That's right. You're taking advice from a man who's middle-aged and single. So just understand, I don't know shit. But I know. Come on, Penny.
I mean, you still got time.
Yeah. We'll see. And enjoy your day, bro. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, man. Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support, and special thanks to Jasmine and Wilson. Thank you both. If you are a suicide attempt survivor or ideator and you'd like to talk, please reach out. Our email is hello@suicidenoted.com. I would love to talk with you. You can, of course, follow us on all of our socials, trying to do a better job of regularly posting there. And you can learn more about this podcast by checking the About sections on Spotify or Apple or wherever you enjoy listening to podcasts, including this one. Our new website will be up soon, so check that out. Nothing fancy, but it will, I think, at least for now, do the trick. And that is all for episode number 267. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.